Welcome to my Ladyslipper general care video. This is a collaboration with Ninja Orchids, and there will be many other channels participating, and I'll have all the channels listed in the description below. To start off, lady slippers is a very general term, but they can include Paphiopedilums over here, like these guys. These are examples. The first one here in front over here is Paphiopedilum spicerianum. So I pulled out a few of these for my collection because most of them are not in flower at the moment. The next one over is spicerianum hybrid, which looks a lot like the spicerianum. It's crossed with Pine Glow, which is a sequential bloomer, hence why there's more than one bud on this plant. So in the back, there's a species. This is a multifloral, and this is Paphio Heinaldianum. Or they can be Phragmipediums, which are native to South America. But in general, I would say that they can have the same type of care. I think that both of these will do very well in an intermediate home. In both groups, there are some species that will do well in the warmer part of the intermediate zone, and others that will do better in the cooler part of the intermediate zone. But given time, I think most plants will adapt to the conditions of your home. So how do I take care of these? In general, I do not have a humidifier, so they live in the living room. So they have the same conditions as the humans here. I live in Canada, so in winter we heat, and in summer we put on AC. But I do compensate for the lack of a humidifier. As you can see, most of my pots have a bit of sphagnum moss on top, and that seems to help. That seems sufficient. In the summer, I'm probably going to be watering 2 or 3 times a week. In winter, that drops down to once a week because it is much cooler in the house. But that seems to be okay. I think the plants may look dry, but I think the center of the pots are always a little bit moist. Of the two groups, I will say that probably the Phragmipediums will tolerate more wet conditions, I think in general. And I think this particularly applies to this one here, which is Phragmipedium besseyi. I think he's probably the only one that I will probably water almost daily or every second day, because as you've noticed, he's the one in the smallest pot. So I guess that bears in mind that if you're going to water, chances are if it's in a smaller pot, you're going to have to water it more often. And the little guy in the back here, I don't know if you can see him. This is Phragmipedium hartwigii, which is a smaller cousin of this guy. This is Phragmipedium longifolium. And because he's in a small pot, he doesn't get water. He gets watered often, probably every 2 days in summer. And I don't know, he tends to get a little drier in winter, but he doesn't seem to mind. And the big pots retain moisture so much more, so even if they get watered once once a week in winter, they don't seem to mind so much. But generally speaking, I think that if you fertilize them with a good orchid fertilizer, which is like a, say, a 10-5-10 that contains calcium and magnesium. And don't fertilize more than 150 parts per million, say every 2 weeks, once a month. I don't think you're going to go wrong. I don't think you necessarily have to go with reverse osmosis water or something like that. As long as you flush your pots regularly, you should be okay. What I do is I use half zero water from the zero pitcher and half tap water, so that lowers the TDS from my tap water. In winter, I don't fertilize as much, but I do continue adding some calcium and magnesium to the waterings twice a month. So, and if anything is growing actively, I may fertilize once a month, something along those lines. So, yeah. The only last point I'm going to stress is this group can grow into all kinds of sizes. So, and has nothing to do with necessarily it being a species, because Spicerianum is a species, and this is a very compact plant. And in the back you have Hainaldianum, which is quite large. The leaves are almost, I guess, a foot long. That's also a species. So I guess consider that in your choices when you are trying to decide what to grow. And that goes as well for the Phragmipediums. Besseyi species is quite small. So is this guy. And so is this guy here. This is a Schlimlii hybrid. And the Schlimlii parent is about the same size, maybe just a bit bigger. And then you get the Longifolium, which is really, I guess, the top of the food chain, I guess, when it comes to Phragmipedium size. But in general, I will say that they are probably, the best suited to my home. I think I've managed to grow many genera, but these are probably some of my favorites. So, anyways, I hope you've enjoyed this short video, and I invite you to watch all the participating channels, and thank you for watching.